Hello, everyone. My name is Hanan Alshawi. I am in the PhD depart. I am a PhD student in the Typography and Graphic Communication department. I am in the final stage of my research about biscriptural typography and visual communication in Saudi Arabia. Um, from the early printing to digital practice. I'm also a lecturer back home in Princess Noura University. Today, I would like to share with you one particular finding of my research. I would like to begin with a familiar example. When living in Saudi Arabia, we are exposed to bilingual communication in everyday life, such as these signs. In bilingual environments, signs often present two languages side by side. Because both languages appear together, we tend to assume a degree of visual balance between them. In other words, when the visual communication is bilingual, we often expect the scripts to occupy relatively equal positions. This assumption appears frequently in discussions about multilingual communication, linguistic landscape, contemporary wayfinding systems. But what happens when we move from science to print? And what happens when we examine this relationship over time? That question became a starting point of this research. When I began this research, I expected to find increasing visual balance between Arabic and Latin scripts. Saudi Arabia became increasingly connected in international commerce, tourism, education, and global communication throughout the 20th century. Given these developments, it would be reasonable to expect both growth in bisexual communication and movement towards greater visual balance between scripts. However, the analysis of the collected materials for this research revealed a more complex picture. Many publications remain entirely in Arabic. Where Arabic and Latin script did appear together, they rarely occupied equal positions. Arabic constantly retained visual dominance through scale, placement, and hierarchy, while Latin script appeared selectively according to audience, purpose, and context. This observation became one of the central findings of my research. For example, these two pictures from 1987 both refer to the same institution, Riyadh Hotel. One is printed advertisements in the left, and the other one is a sign on the building. At first glance, both appear bilingual. However, they communicate Arabic and Latin scripts very differently. One on the sign, you can see the two scripts appear relatively balanced, both highly visible and intended to be read from distance. This is perhaps what we might expect from bilingual sign in a building. However, in the advertisement, as you see in the left, Arabic clearly occupies dominant position. It appears first and it's larger and structure the reading sequence. What is particularly interesting about this advertisement, the complexity of the Arabic typography itself. The advertisement combine several calligraphic and typographic styles, including Kufi, Nasr, Raq'a, and Thulth. Much of the Arabic appears to be handwritten and then printed, reflected a professional printing practice of the period, while the logo is probably lithographed. The Latin script, by contrast, appears as a single serif type, just saying the brand name. Most importantly, the English is not a translation of the Arabic content. The Arabic text contains information and description and promotional message that do not appear in English. English is limited to the brand name Riyadh Hotel, while the communicative content remains entirely in Arabic. This suggests that the relationship between the scripts is not equivalence or direct translation. Instead, the two scripts perform different communicative roles. Arabic carries the primary message, while English functions mainly as a marker of identity and international visibility. How this led to the central question explored for this talk. How were relationships between Arabic and Latin scripts visually constructed in Saudi print over time? And what can relationships tell us about script interaction within a rapidly changing print environment? The findings I will present today are drawn from professionally printed materials collected for this research. Total of 482 professional printed materials between 1900 and 2020. The only criteria for collecting these materials is that they are designed and printed in Saudi Arabia. The collection included newspapers, books, magazines, advertisements, booklets, annual reports, letter covers, pamphlets, and calendars. Instead of looking at these materials primarily as a historical document, I approach them as a visual evidence. They allow us to examine how script relations were organized, reproduced, and transformed over time, sorry, not overnight. To understand how script relations developed over time, I created a synchronoptic timeline linking printed materials within technological developments and historical events. The method is common in collection-based research and adopted from previous research projects in the typography department. The timeline brings together visual evidence from um, uh, materials with changes in printing technology, publishing practice, education, government regulations, and international engagement. Instead of viewing the development as a simple chronological progression, the timeline allows relationships between these factors to be examined in parallel. One of the key observations emerging from visual analysis is that the script interaction evolved in response for changing technology, institutional, and communication conditions. The findings show that the development is not just a straightforward linear progression from monolingual to bilingual communication. Instead, the timeline revealed that there is a four distinct phases which became the basis for dividing the materials into these four periods. The first period is from 1900 to 1932. This covers the early printing activity in Al-Hijaz before of the official political unification of the kingdom in 1932. The second period, from 1932 to 1953, corresponds with the state formation following the political unification of the kingdom. That is when printing and publishing became more regulated. The third period is from 1953 to 1980, which marks the rise of commercial publishing, offset printing, and the early beginning of professional graphic design industry. The fourth period is from 1980 to 2020, which covered the transition to digital production alongside increasing international communication and globalization. This period provides a historical framework from examining changes in script use and script relations. This framework, with this framework established, we can now look at the script use across the collected material. This graph summarizes the distribution of Arabic only, Latin only, and biscriptural materials across these 4 periods. Looking across the entire period, one finding stood out clearly. Arab script remained the dominant script throughout the history of Saudi professional print in the collected materials, while biscriptural layouts became increasingly visible, particularly in the later periods. Their appearance was selective and linked to the specific institutional, economic, and audience-driven requirements. As a result of pilgrimage and international communication, branding, and later digital governance, biscriptural layout emerged as dependent design strategy rather than a replacement for the Arabic script. As a result, Arabic remained as a primary communicative script, while Latin generally functioned as supportive layer providing international legibility. Having established this broader pattern, the next question is how these scripts relations were visually constructed. To answer that, we have to understand that the scripts appear in biscriptural layouts. So the questions are, which script is encountered first? Which script occupies the largest visual area? Which scripts structure the reading sequence? One pattern appears repeatedly throughout the biscriptural materials. Arabic constantly occupies the dominant visual position. The dominance is visible through scale, placement, type weight, and hierarchy. For example, here in biscriptural magazine and books, this is a book and a magazine, Arabic generally structure the page. In advertisement, Arabic function as the primary communicative layer. Even when the Latin is present, Arabic usually remains the visual anchor of composition. This pattern appears across different decades and publication categories. Hierarchy between scripts can be constructed through different mechanisms. The first one is scale. Arabic frequently appears larger than Latin. Scale operates as a single communication priority. Larger type attracts attention first and establish reading sequence. This use of typographic scale is consistent in biscriptural materials across different publication types. Hierarchy can be constructed through layout arrangement. Arabic often occupied the permanent locations, top position, central position, and primary reading zones. Latin frequently appears beneath Arabic and in the secondary areas of the layout. These decisions shape how information is encountered and understood. The third mechanism is reading sequence. Scale and type weight can shape the reading sequence, directing attention toward the script and establishing a clear hierarchy. Hierarchy also structured by audience expectations that shaped script relations. Publications aimed primarily for Arabic-speaking audience generally dominance through hierarchy, scale, and layout. Printed materials intended to international audience increase the visibility of English, particularly in sectors such as hospitality and pilgrimage. In many cases, publishers choose to separate Arabic and Latin into 2 different editions. So, for example, these magazines, both for Aramco World, which is the oil company, there is one entirely in Arabic and one entirely in English. In other cases, both scripts were contained within the same publication, but designed in parallel structure. So the Arabic open from the right and the Latin open from the left. Instead of creating fully integrated biscriptural layout, these design solutions maintain the structural independence of each language while accommodating different readership. This suggests that audience consideration influenced not only the presence of Latin script, but also how relationships between scripts were organized with the publication itself. The findings do not suggest the absence of Latin script. In fact, Latin script became increasingly visible during the 20th century. As we can see here, Latin script was almost absent in the earliest period, while appeared selectively in advertisement and brand names. Then it expanded through commercial advertising and international communication after the 1950s and became increasingly common after digital production. What changes across these periods is not how often Latin appears, but what it is used for. Its role shifts from occasional reference to commercial identification, then to international communication and business sector. So I would like to end with the comparison that we opened this presentation with. So these both examples emerged from the same society, both participate in bilingual communication, yet they constructed the relationships between scripts in different ways. The findings suggest that bilingual communication should not be understood solely through language use. It must also be understood through the visual arrangement of scripts and the roles assigned to them within communication. Across more than a century of Saudi print production, the presence of Latin expanded greatly, moving from occasional reference to broader role in branding, tourism, commercial communication, and government services. Yet, this expansion did not produce visual equality between scripts. Arabic consistently retained the primary community and symbolic role, while the use of Latin remained dependent on audience, function, and context. Thank you. Also, I have brought some examples. Maybe in the coffee break I can show you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you, Hanan. This was very rich material, and then your exploration. Do we have any questions for Hanan? Yes.
I have a very short question. Can you return to the picture of the hotel?
Yes.
Why are all the dogs moved to the left? A few meters to the left here. Because of the
Yeah, and the fa and the nun.
the far and
Yeah, that's a. I said, oh, why? Maybe construction? Maybe the people who put the sign, they don't know how to read Arabic. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because this is in a newspaper.
Mm.
So maybe this one, they, I think they're more experts who created the advertisement.
Well, here they don't have room enough to put it on the letter, so they put a bit on the left, but it's okay. But here it's a different letter.
Mm.
It's under the between the and the top. It is strange.
That's interesting.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Related to that,
Mm.
who will be staying over?
Probably like international visitors, foreigners, because yeah, because this is like in the 80s in Riyadh. It wasn't like common that people stay in hotels. Even if you're visiting from another city, you will find someone to stay there. So probably it's someone who's visiting from another country.
It's just being the being used.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bethany, then we're gonna come back here. Go.
This is great. I would really love to know where this is going next. I know that your corpus stops in 2020, because you have to have an end point, but
Yeah.
have you seen, like, just now that you're thinking about this a lot, more changes or growth or anything shifting in the discourse of now, or where do you see this research going next, or?
Yeah. So first, I stopped at 2020 because Saudi Arabia changed a lot after 2020, and even like the signage system in like the holy cities, they have now barcode that you can scan, and it changes like whatever language you want, so you can find your way around if you have a phone. So everything is digital. So that's why I stopped, because I'm looking at printed materials. But my future research will focus on the pilgrimage booklets, because I found a couple of them and they were very interesting. In the beginning, they were biscriptual, and they have not biscriptual, multi-scriptual. And then at some point, like after 1930, it become only English and Arabic. So it will be interesting to see what's this change and why it happened. Yeah, this is my future research. Thank you.
I was wondering, but if you found also some other languages within Latin scripts or even in other scripts, like you have the instance of the Chinese restaurant. Did you find any Chinese in your?
No. I found like Arabic, but for Jawi, and Arabic for Turkish, but not another like scripts.
Turkish written in Arabic script?
Yes.
Strange. No Turk can ever read it.
It was before. It was in 1909.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, before the before the Turkey.
I have a question. This question is pertaining to the posters, so specifically for that. How important is the visual consistency between Arabic and Latin typography? Like when doing translation from Arabic and to the Latin, so Arabic comes first and Latin comes second. How important is the relation between them? And when trying to match these two scripts, what key factors do the designers will consider it or filter out? Or in other words, what made the Latin typeface choice truly be appropriate or accessible when paired with Arabic?
Okay, so I will show you here. Maybe this, you see like the last ad there. So I think this is trending now in the Arab world, not only in Saudi. This obsession about making the Arabic look exactly like the English, and make it simplified more. And even like there are a lot of workshops for typographers and graphic designers. How do we make the two scripts look the same? I think these are not meant to be, they're meant to be advertising maybe digitally. But when I looked in print, if you go to a library and look in a print, you will see like Arabic, books in Arabic, signs in Arabic. So I think the digital world, making them like think about the equality between Arabic and English. Did I answer your question?
I see.
I get lost a little.
It-
What?
With a family, with a
Here?
With the family.
Family? What family?
freedom.
Oh, okay.
This-
Ah, okay.
So this one, I think apparently the English or the Latin letters comes last.
Yeah.
So what would be the considerations for designers when doing that? Now, would they refer very importance to how the Arabic how appears, and that factor would influence their decision on choosing the Latin letters?
Yes, you can, as you can see, like this is also this is online. There is one online, one printed. But as you can see, like the Arabic and English matching. So this is the target audience is tourists. It's about Riyadh season. So there is another one, which is, I think, totally in English, but I couldn't find it.
I have a question. Instead of a hyphen here, you have an underscore. And it's close to the tattoo, which is there. So is this part of the font that the hyphen looks like an underscore to resemble the Arabic baseline? Or was it accidental, so the underscore was used by accident?
This is the font that they developed for the Ministry of Entertainment. So I think I can't answer you. I don't know what they were thinking when they did it. But I think
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Changing to the font?
I have like guessing. I'm not gonna say.
We take that in the recording.
Yeah. Well, I have a follow-up to that. You used a visual research as your methodology.
Yes.
And your primary goal was to actually see trends.
Yeah.
Uh, I noticed that in some of them, optical weight was not the same. It's not about the style because Arabic and Latin, you can't really like make them look the
Yeah.
same, even though that's, as you mentioned now, it's a
Yeah.
trend. But have you noticed that there was any kind of trend to at least try to match optical weights? What stuck with me was the tea print commercial where at the top,
Yeah.
at the beginning, it's it
Ah,
advertised tea.
Okay, yeah, the old one. Okay, this one.
Yes. So you have very dense, visually, optically heavy top Arabic font and a script, very elegant Latin one. So that prompted in my head a question. If you have seen throughout this whole corpus that you have been looking at, any trends
Like
that
if they're trying to
if
make
you, they,
yeah.
if they just try to
Yeah, I think the later years they try to make it like look the same, but my guessing for this ad, because it's Lipton, so it's an
Mm.
international brand, so probably they got the ad in English and then they just added the Arabic because it looks like it's already there. The script, the English
also
script.
that adds to the
The
complexity.
thin lines are the same. So it's not an optical scale. Look at it, the thin lines are the same. It's the heavy lines which are different, but they probably didn't found Arabic font with these or the other way around. But it's not optical scaling.
Like I understand what you mean. Like it's heavier if you
It's
your eye
I'm-
goes.
Okay, so
to
this is
Arabic.
not a type term. I'm just borrowing
Yeah.
from art history and like art in general.
Yeah.
Like when you talk
Yeah.
about art elements, you have.
Yeah, I
to-
understand. It's the same like
Yes.
with here. Like Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that, yes, we're 30 minutes. Amazing. Thank you so much.